thank you for being here, and thank you for being here if you are online, if you are watching us online. Thank you for paying attention to our presentation today. Okay, my name is Encinas, and I am the coordinator of the Spanish language program at the Queen Mary University and the year abroad for Spain and Latin America. All right? So, it is very difficult to teach a taster class because I am supposed to teach you a class or to give a taster, but it is very difficult to think of a class that caters for all the levels of ability because I don't know your level of ability. As you know, and Jeremy mentioned before, we offer, in Spanish, we offer 3 pathways. Ab initio, for those students who know nothing of Spanish, post-A level, okay, I'm going to advanced, post-A level and post-GCSE, and then the native pathway for native speakers of Spanish, all right? So today, since I don't know which level you are in, I'm going to alternate between English and Spanish. Today, I don't want to talk about the varieties of Spanish in Spain, but we are going to concentrate on Colombian Spanish, because the author that I chose for our talk today, our class today, is Colombian, Gabriel García Márquez, okay? So 30 minutes, imagine that we are in class and we are attending a reading and writing seminar, all right? And then we will be covering one of the stories of Gabriel García Márquez, and the title of my talk, of my class today is The Difficult Beauty of Simplicity in Language. Pay attention to those notions. Beauty, simplicity, language. You don't need to be a very fluent speaker of a language in order to put your ideas across or in order to feel the essence of a culture. And that is what I want for you to feel when you are taking a language class with us. Now, simplicity, beauty, creativity. I don't know if you are familiar with the talks and the work of Ken Robinson. Do you know this name? No? Okay, he's a British man who unfortunately died very recently. And he was an educator, and he wrote a lot about what he called the death valley of Western education. So his big question is how to escape education's death valley. Is our Western education killing creativity? So if you are interested in his views and in his talks, it's fascinating and he's very, very funny. Follow the link. You will have access to this presentation after I finish, and then you can listen to him. This funny man here with a wonderful book on his head is Gabriel García Márquez, and he knew quite a lot about creativity, okay? Our story today belongs in a compilation of short stories called Doce, cuentos, peregrinos. Pay attention to the translation proposed by the official translator of English, okay? Strange pilgrims. Peregrino is a pilgrim, but you know, strange pilgrims, I don't know if it translates very loyally, the idea of 12 cuentos peregrinos. So one thing that you need to do for us, become translators. Okay, translate from English into Spanish, all right? There was a poet, an Italian poet called Cesare Pavese. I don't know if that name rings a bell, no? Cesare Pavese used to say, tradurre e tradire. To translate is to betray. And sometimes it happens, you know, it happens. And we will see that in the process of this session. The short story that I am focusing on today is El avión de la bella durmiente, the airplane of the sleeping beauty. Okay, El avión de la bella durmiente. If we were in class, unfortunately, or fortunately for you, we are not in class, but if we were in class, I would ask for a volunteer to help me out and read the paragraph, all right? Since we are not in class, and we have lost, I think, that wonderful habit, that wonderful practice of reading out loud. How beautiful is that? I love that when people read things out loud, like they did, you know, in the Victorian times, or like we all did when we were children, and our parents would read a bednight story for us. So a student, one of you would be reading this little paragraph. I will read it for you, okay? El avión de la bella durmiente, a fragment. Era bella, elástica, con una piel tierna del color del pan y los ojos de almendras verdes. Y tenía el cabello liso y negro y largo hasta la espalda, y un aura de antigüedad que lo mismo podía ser de Indonesia que de los Andes. Estaba vestida con un gusto sutil, chaqueta de lince, blusa de seda natural con flores muy tenues, pantalones de lino crudo y unos zapatos lineales del color de las bugambillas. Esta es la mujer más bella que he visto en mi vida, pensé, cuando la vi pasar con sus sigilosos trancos de leona, mientras yo hacía la cola para abordar el avión de Nueva York al aeropuerto Charles de Gaulle de París. Fue una aparición sobrenatural que existió solo un instante y desapareció en la muchedumbre del vestíbulo. For those of you who don't speak Spanish well, or maybe you missed some of the words, this is the translation, okay? Basically, it's an external, not internal, of psychological depiction, portrait of a character, but external. This is the plot. This man is on a queue, about to board a plane from Paris to New York. And then he sees this amazingly beautiful creature. He falls in love immediately, love at first sight. He's totally in love, okay? She's a wonderful, wonderfully beautiful creature. All right, so he goes on the plane, he boards the plane, and then what? He sits on his seat, and he discovers that the person sitting right next to him is the beautiful woman. Woo! It's the beautiful woman. But what happens? The beautiful woman falls asleep the moment the plane takes off. And she doesn't wake up until the plane lands in New York. So he can never talk to her. He can only do one thing, watch her while she sleeps. And I understand that the theme of older men looking beautiful young women without touching, without doing anything, while they sleep is very common in Japanese literature, but that is something that we will not touch in our class, okay? So you have the context. Now, where am I going to with all this introduction? I'm going to the notion of stressing the idea of creativity and languages, okay? In all modules after year 2, you have the option for Spanish to either choose an essay, to write an essay for your assessed work, either to write an essay or doing. I remember 10 years ago when I came to Queen Mary and I gave those two options to students, they were horrified. It's like, Ma, no, creative writing? I am not a creative person. And I was really worried because I was thinking, who told you so? Who made you believe that you are not a creative person? What a crime! What a terrible crime! You all are to find the atmosphere for that creativity to emerge. And this is what I want to create for you in language classes. All right? Now, before we work on the test, go back to the test. Let's concentrate on this man. This man is Edgar Allan Poe. Do you know the name? Okay, it is considered, Edgar Allan Poe, he is considered to be the father of the contemporary short stories. He is American, he was American, and he is absolutely adored by writers of the generation of Gabriel García Márquez. And in his idea, in Poe's idea of the perfect composition, literary composition, there is one notion, the notion of unity of effect. What is unity of effect? unity of effect is basically the aggregation, the putting together of semantically and most of the times phonetically related words or notions. So if you want to stress the idea of beauty, choose notions related to beauty. Okay? If you want to stress the idea of, I don't know, loss or pain or I don't know, melancholy, choose those concepts. All right? So let's see this narrator of Gabriel García Márquez, and let's see if we assume he is a he, well, he is a he, the narrator, if he achieves that unity of effect that Edgar Allan Poe proposes. Let's pay attention to the adjectives. Bella, elástica, tierna, liso, sutil, natural, tenues, crudo, lineales. Bella, again, sigilosos, sobrenatural. Okay? You see that we have different colors for different notions. All right? Elástica, tierna. Elástica, the idea of youth, the idea of agility. Okay? Bella, tierna, liso, natural. Her blouse is silk, natural silk. The flowers of the blouse are very, very subtle, very subtle. She was wearing una chaqueta de lince, a lynx jacket. Her trousers were made of lino crudo, linen, okay? She moved like with sigilosos trancos de leona, with the stealthy stride of a lioness, okay? And then she was like supernatural. So if we consider this semantic choice of adjectives, we come to a conclusion. The more beautiful they are, the more they are close to nature. Okay? So you will see, tenía una piel del color del pan, nature and food, everything related to the pleasure of being alive. All right, this is Gabriel García Márquez at his very essence. So her skin was like bread, okay? Her eyes were like green almonds. She was wearing all very natural fabrics, all right? And she moved like a stealthy lioness. All right, so pay attention to that, because I think, do you think he's achieving the unity of effect? What do you think? I think he does, right? So he pays attention to his semantic choice of concepts, of adjectives, to give the impression of beauty, nature, all right? Now, literary devices. On top of the choice of adjectives or nouns, in this case, I am concentrated on qualifications of adjectives, okay? Pay attention to other uses of particular uses of language with the idea to create an effect, okay? Look at that. He says, era bella, elástica, con una piel tierna del color del pan y los ojos de almendras verdes, y tenía el cabello liso, y negro, y largo, y un aura. That "y" is not necessary. It's a repetition to insist of the idea of how extraordinarily gorgeous this woman was, okay? Now, the use of language to create a certain effect in Spanish is called the tropos. Tropos is a Greek word that means something that changes in color or something, right? So we change the effect of the text by means of selecting certain literary devices, okay? We've seen that the narrator uses metaphors, piel como el pan, ojos como almendras, stride like a lioness, but also polysyndeton. Polysyndeton is repetition, the repetition of a conjunction. E is a conjunction, okay? Now, let's see. So now, I'm sorry because I am going a bit too fast, because before you came to this class, you had a lot of homework, and you've done it because you are super good students. So you are prepared for our class, all right? So now, the second part of the class, we are going to concentrate on the morphology of verbs, the verbal morphology of the text. Let's pay attention to the tenses. Era, tenía, estaba, hacía, blue, okay? Pensé, existió, desapareció, pink. All right. So, era, tenía, estaba, hacía is a description. When we describe people in the past in Spanish, we use pretérito imperfecto. Okay? So, permanent characteristics, psychologically or physical, of an individual, preterite imperfect past. But for actions that happened at a very punctual time in the past, we use a different tense, which is indefinido. And there you have pensé, I thought, be, I saw her, existió, she existed for a minute, and then desapareció, she was gone. Okay? Once we have a green tense, he visto. He visto es pretérito perfecto. It's the tense that belongs in the past, but whose action continues in the present. So the narrator has never in the past seen anyone so beautiful, even in the present. So that's why he's so totally fascinated by her, okay? Now, you have here, for your homework, because I don't want to bore you, I want to listen to you and to listen to your questions and to your comments. Here, for your homework, you would have many exercises online, basically self-corrected exercises, where you can go over the pretérito imperfecto, pretérito perfecto, okay? So in this class, we just go a bit faster, so you know when to use those tenses. Pretérito imperfecto to describe, pretérito indefinido for punctual actions in the past, and now pretérito, this is pretérito indefinido, punctual actions in the past, and then pretérito perfecto, the past that continues in the present, all right? For instance, if I say, okay, tell me, what sentence would I need? So, pretérito imperfecto to describe, pretérito indefinido for punctual actions in the past, and pretérito perfecto for an action of the past that continues in the present, okay? For instance, me, I've never had red hair in my life. Which tense do you think I need? Imperfecto, pretérito, or perfecto? What do you think, people? When he says, you know, pretérito perfecto, of course you are listening to me, and it's like, oh my God, I don't want to be wrong. Okay, don't worry. I just wanted to check if I go too fast, because I tend to speak very fast. All right. Okay. So I've mentioned three tenses of the past in Spanish. There is a fourth one. The fourth one is pretérito pluscuamperfecto. That would be our content for the next class, okay? So tomorrow we come here to, the same time, I'll see you here, and then we'll have another session on pretérito pluscuamperfecto. No, we won't, okay, don't worry. All right, now, you have to show me how creative you are. This is an invitation for us to play in the beautiful playground of words. Let's be children again, and let's play with words, with notions, with the ability to express ourselves in another language, which is an invitation to be creative, all right? So now what you have to do for homework, today is Friday, and our next class will be next Friday, all right? For next Friday, what you have to do is, following Gabriel García Márquez's choice of adjectives, verbal tenses, and literary devices, write a brief text, brief, very brief, like the one I just read, minimum 134 words and maximum 200, in which you take into consideration the use of imperfecto, indefinido, perfecto. Tropos, keep it simple. Some metaphors, maybe some comparisons, use of polysyndeton to stress an idea of e, or o, you know, and to create choices, okay? Selection of adjectives, this is the aggregation of semantically related notions. It can be semantically or also phonetically related notions. Because if I say sigilosos trancos de Leona, you see there is a continuation and an alliteration of S, of L, liquid sounds that translate very, very well the idea of silence, all right? I don't say corría como un perro rabioso. If I use corría como un perro rabioso, that is very noisy, okay? So unity of effect by means of a semantic or phonetic selection of words, all right? Now, for your exercise, I'm going to give you 3 pictures, 3 options, and you have to choose one. But before you start to choose one, and please remember that we are going to concentrate on description, you have to give me the plot, the background of your description. I gave you the plot of the man waiting, you know, at the airport, and then he sees that woman, and he falls totally in love. So you have 3 pictures, all right? Choose one. Choose just one. And remember the choice of adjectives. We are trying to emulate Gabriel García Márquez. The idea is relate the notion of beauty with nature. And nature for Gabriel García Márquez is all the external nature that you contemplate, and also all the elements of nature that makes you feel happy, like wine, grapes, food, okay? It is very common that eyes, hands, skin are always compared to things that you eat or you drink in Gabriel García Márquez. I love it. All right? So that is what you have to do. I came to Queen Mary University 10 years ago, and in my second, I had a student, a second-year student, who was absolutely outraged when I said to her, to the class, choose between an essay or a creative writing exercise. And she's like, Mar, but I don't know, I've never done it, I'm not creative. I said, well, try it, okay? She tried it. She wrote a beautiful short story. That short story was published in our magazine, our departmental magazine called La Maga. And then it was chosen to be among a selection of stories written by several students from several universities. And it was published in a bilingual collection in Spain. She was thrilled. And now Charlotte is happily working on a novel. So see sometimes how you only need the seed to allow your creativity to emerge, and get rid of all the judgments, because those are paralyzing. Just be like a child. I am in the playground, I'm going to have a great time, okay? Curiosity and passion to learn. All right, so that is my proposal to you, to enjoy, to be creative, to be curious, and to take languages like a wonderful opportunity to make yourself bigger, to make yourself happier and more international and more you know, yeah, creative is a beautiful word. All right, so I'm going to finish the class of today